the market size, but if you are in a big market out there, you really should be running a Hispanic campaign. And I tell you that today, like even Miami, probably the largest Hispanic market in the country, most of the clicks go for less than 30 cents for a car dealer. Why? Because there aren't a whole lot of people who are targeting Hispanics with Hispanic language ads. 71% of Hispanic auto purchasers use English for most of their time, or at least on their online activity. So one of the good, strong strategy is to have ads that are in Spanish, and even if they drop on a bilingual or an English landing page, research shows that those will work extremely well. They don't feel like, oh man, I need to build a new website with Hispanic English on. You can drop a Spanish AdWords ad on an English page, and it would still be very, very effective. But what happens is a lot of times is that when people are searching Hispanically, that they are not being served up ads that is easy for them. Especially on the mobile side. 75% of all Hispanic searches in the automotive industry occur on a mobile. 77% of all digital Hispanic purchasers search at least once daily for something on their mobile device. And I pulled this screenshot. This comes out of New York City. And so here the search was somebody in Spanish was looking for a used Honda Accord. And the cool thing is, here was a nice dealer, Paragon Honda, right? They had the ad right here in Spanish, easy to read. Look at Lexus. Lexus is trying to steal you away a Spanish, first off, it's not Honda, all right? They're trying to steal a Honda customer. Okay. Well, if you're going to at least try to steal the Honda customer, do it in Spanish like everything else. So this is a double, bummer here for Lexus. Whoever did this should be taken out and, beaten or something. That's not good. All right? And it's very, very economical. If your digital partner says, well, we can't do that, then you need to look for another digital partner. And finally, the 10th question is never judge a book by its cover. And this is what I want to show you. Check this out. This is a real-life case example of two dealerships. Dealership 1. Their Google AdWords program delivered for them over a first quarter of 2016. In the first quarter of 2016, their Google AdWords program delivered for them 1.2 million impressions, 34,000 clicks. Their average cost per click was 76 cents, and their average position on the page was 3.7. Dealership 2 in the first quarter had 194,000 impressions, 15,000 clicks. The average cost per click was $1.72, and the average position on the page was 1.7. Now, which one of these dealerships, if you were looking at a digital program, would you want to have? Most times when I show this case study over the last couple of months, people say, oh, I want to be dealership 1. And I say, why do you want to be dealership 1? Look at this. 1 million impressions, 34,000 clicks. I'm killing it. The cost per click, 76%. Woo! But in reality, what matters most, remember I keep saying it to you, lead forms and phone calls. Both of these dealerships had what's called an assigned retail sales lead, which is when a phone call comes in or a lead form comes in, that it gets assigned to a salesperson. Dealership 1 had 1,723 assigned internet sales leads in the first quarter. Dealership 2 had 3,045. Now, which dealership would you want to be? See, this is where digital companies always try to take you, is up here, because what up here obscures is really what matters to you most right here. This is the place that you always need to start, the biggest question you need to ask. And why you're maybe saying, well, why did this one do so much better? I'll tell you why. It had a lot to do with the average position. This one is in a 3.7. This one's in a 1.2. Remember, I showed you that chart from the very beginning that most of the clicks occur in the first or second position. in order to get in the first or second position, they had to pay a little bit more. But when they paid a little bit more, they got so much more. So thank you very, very much to your time today. I hope you got some good out of this, and we'll open up the floor for questions, and make sure that you get my your information, and feel free to drop me an email or line even after this, and I'd be glad to answer it as well. So Brian, you want to do some questions?
Yes, absolutely. But you showed a stat. You showed a stat earlier about 77% of the clicks. And the question is, can you add a little bit more detail to that? It was 77% of buyers click as a paid ad.
Yeah. So what's happened is it's all a matter of space. So when you look at a Google search engine results page, and I wish I had one that was real close. I should put one in the deck here. But at the top of the page today, there is typically 5 things that show above what they call the above the fold section. And what I mean by the above the fold section is the bottom of your screen that you don't have to scroll up or scroll down. So in that above the fold section where you don't have to move your mouse to move up or down, there's typically 4 paid ads and 1 organic. So the reason why today 77% of the clicks are occurring is that people don't like to scroll down the screen. And the second reason is that typically the first 4 ads are all written towards the search. So if I'm searching for a Honda Civic, ad 1 probably says, are you looking for a Honda Civic? Ad 2 says Honda Civic, $99. Ad 3 says, big sale on Honda Civic. Ad 4 says, are you thinking Civic? Buy a Ford Focus instead. You as a consumer, you don't need to scroll down any further because the first 4 or 5 things all have the answer. And that's why really today from an SEO standpoint, I'm not saying don't do SEO. SEO has some value, but SEO doesn't have the value that once did. I mean, you could have SEO Jesus running your account, and the best place that SEO Jesus can get you is in the 5th position, which is really 4 positions too low. So that's why today 77% of all consumers click on at least 1 paid search ad. And then over on the mobile side of things, 85% of the clicks occur from one of the first 3 things that pop up on your phone. All 3 of those positions are paid positions. And with click-to-call buttons and directions buttons, it makes it so easy you don't feel like you need to scroll down. That's why those consumers are clicking on those ads.
Okay. Tanner would like to know if we can provide a copy of the slide deck. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Okay, perfect. Doug says, excellent, informative, and entertaining presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Doug, very much.
And then, let's see, what are the biggest changes you've seen in 2016?
The biggest change is really mobile today has now not only beaten desktop, but they have driven a stake into the desktop's heart. And what I mean by that, Google announced last month at their developers conference that they are done designing things for desktop. There'll never be something new from Google for your desktop computer. In fact, today, Google is now even separating it out. They're looking at desktop, laptop, and phone all differently. They'll design stuff for tablet, and they'll design stuff for your phone, but no more coming on your desktop. The other big change is the personalization of search. Things like Google Match, where you can now serve up ads directly to somebody based upon their email address or their phone number. And you're also seeing that same thing occurring with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, that people are getting more and more personalized. Within the next couple of years, when you sign on to a computer, your whole first page is just going to be filled with stuff that's personalized to you. And that's really where the industry is going.
Okay. This one's from Raina. After someone searches for make model, how much more valuable is a paid ad versus an organic ad?
A paid ad is going to if you have the correct paid ad. There's something that's called dynamic inventory search campaigns, and there are a lot of companies out there that can do that for you. What they actually do is every night they search your inventory and they'll prepare a paid ad for you based upon what you have in stock. So if you're a Ford dealer but you have a Land Rover you've taken in trade, it's going to find that Land Rover in your inventory and do an AdWords campaign. If somebody then is searching for 2013 Land Rover and you have that car on the lot, you can run a paid ad at the top of the page. It's going to be incredibly relevant to the consumer, and you're probably going to get the click. However, if you're not running dynamic and you're just, touting your large inventory, one of the cool things about the used car side from an organic standpoint, you can SEO yourself a little bit for large inventory, easy financing, payments, some really cool buys, but you run the risk of somebody in your marketplace coming up with a dynamic inventory search campaign. It was funny, I got to do a presentation last Friday for Lexus to their L certified department, and one of the things that Lexus was shocked at when we were going through different markets in the country is the number of off-brand dealers that were showing up at the top of the page for Lexus pre-owned searches. In Los Angeles, the first two listings for Lexus pre-owned, one was a Nissan dealer and the second was a Porsche dealer. Lexus wasn't even at the top of the page for their own cars. And it's because of all that dynamic inventory search. If you have that, you can get at the top of the page and it could be very, very successful for you.
All right. Where do you see the percentage of internet leads, email versus phone at the dealership level, and where do you see that percentage going to phone with the increase in mobile? From Ryan.
Yeah, well, that's an excellent question, because one of the things that we're seeing, and I know Chip King pretty well from Call Review, and I know he always talks about this like a Digital Dealer and when he's making presentation. By and large, call counts for dealership are on the rise. They're higher now today than they've been in a long time at the expense of internet lead forms. Because what happens is on a phone, you don't want to fill out a form. Right? I'm a digital guy, and the other day I was so mad at Southwest Airlines. I'm trying to fill out the form to get Wi-Fi on the plane, and it wouldn't let me scroll over to put the CCV number of my credit card in. And if I could have opened up the window at 35,000 feet and thrown my phone out of it, I would have. And then I'm a digital guy. You would think that I would be able to fill out a form. It's funny, Facebook just put out a video that shows that filling out a form on a phone takes 138% longer than what it does when you do it on the desktop. So as a result, what we're seeing right now is typically it's about 65-35 phone calls to lead forms in a dealership. And I would say probably over the next year, that's probably going to get to 80-20, maybe even 90-10 eventually, as more and more people are floating to the phone. You think about it today, like you don't even have to print out concert tickets anymore. I went to take my wife the other week to a concert, and it was one that you had to print out your tickets, and we almost got there, and I realized I didn't print it out. We're just so used to doing everything on our phone now today, and I think we're going to see that continuing.
All right. Can you sell cars on social media?
Absolutely, you can. It was so cool. I got to sit in on a panel with some great folks, TrueCar and Carfax. And somebody had asked that question there as well. What you have to think of social media today is social media is a channel like ABC, CBS, or your favorite radio station. Back when social media started really becoming in vogue 10, 14 years ago, it was really Grunchy Granola, Kumbaya, Michael row your boat ashore type of stuff. When you had a good experience, you wrote about it, and you hope people passed it down the line. Today, the targeting mechanisms that Facebook has will blow you away. Facebook ties in with BlueKai and Dadium and IHS Polk. You can go in, if you're a Honda store, and target people in your area who own Hondas on Facebook and give them specific offers and ads for your cars. They have Customer Match, which works like Google Customer or like Google Match, in that you can upload your DMS into Facebook. Facebook performs the match. And if your customers are on Facebook, you could begin marketing to them directly on Facebook. So what you need to do is, and I'm not saying don't go away from putting pictures of Mr. and Mrs. Smith taking possession of a car, but what you need to do is start looking at strategies on Facebook that can help you sell cars. And here's my tip for the day. This is a very, very fun strategy. Facebook has something that's called hyperlocal. Now, one of the things that we know that when a consumer is buying a car, there's a lot of downtime when you're at the dealership, right? You fill out a credit app, you wait. They have to evaluate your trade, you wait. You have to put in an offer, they have to go talk to your manager, you wait. And what do people do when they're waiting? Research shows that while they're sitting in the dealership, they're on their phone and they're on Facebook. What you can do with hyperlocal is you can put your competitor's address into Facebook, and if somebody is at your competitor's address and they're going down their Facebook feed, you could just blow them away with ads for your dealership. So while they're sitting there waiting to hear if their offer is going to be accepted, they could be going down their page and seeing ads for your dealership, no offer refused, best payments ever, huge stock, we have it in purple. And it's a great way for you guys to sell cars and at the same time not break the bank, because you make the geofence so tight that it only applies to people when they're at your competitor's dealership. And also has a cool secondary effect. It totally demoralizes your competitor's sales staff, because all day long when their sales staff is on Facebook, all they're doing is seeing ads for your dealership. So that's my free tip of the day.
All right. Actually, I forgot to give Jim credit for that last question. Thank you, Jim. This next one's from Jane. Have you heard of Gmail single promotion?
I love Gmail single promotion. This is so cool. And I didn't even realize this. About 41% of American households have a Gmail account. And now with Gmail single promotion, is part of getting Gmail for free. If you ever read the terms and conditions, Google reserves the right to read your Gmail. So with Gmail single promotion, you can upload keywords and competitors and phrases that it would search your Gmail for. And if one of those phrases would pop up in a consumer's Gmail box in your area, you can then serve up, which looks like an email, but it's actually an ad right in the middle of their Gmail box. And if they can click on it, they can respond to it, they can forward it to a friend, they can save it. But the reason why it showed up in the Gmail box was because that consumer had been typing or reading an email that had one of your phrases that you were looking for. This is really cool new technology. It's still in a lot of development and beta stage, but it's something you should be asking your partner about if you haven't done it. The results that I've seen have been really, really amazing.
Wow, that is pretty darn cool. I guess, Rich, that's our last question. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
No, just don't get scared by digital. Read. There's a lot of great blogs out there. Search Engine Land, SEM Report. You read, try to stay up on it, and if you ever have any questions or just want to shoot the bull about digital, I'm your guy. Give me a call. Okay.
Well, everybody, this is Brian Ankney from Out of Success again. I want to thank everyone for coming to the webinar today. I feel like it'd be virtually impossible for anybody that attended to not have learned more than 10 new things today. Rich, that was a great webinar. Thank you. If you so you all remember, if you would like to have a copy of the slide deck, please send me an email. My email is Brian with an I at autosuccessonline.com. And again, one more plug for Facebook. If you haven't joined Auto Success webinars, go do it today. That's another place where you can interact with your peers as you embark on these new journeys of improving your digital marketing. You can share your successes, share your failures, ask for advice. It's a great place to interact. Rich, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Nope, that'll do it. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.
Perfect. Goodbye, guys. Hope to see you again soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.